This is why I want to go back. We discovered that many of our service members, especially when they came back, some from very difficult circumstances, but there was something that was working inside of them that said, you know what, I'd like to go back. Lots of times there's a deep cost to it in terms of human relationships. And this is sometimes hard for people to understand, especially family members.
Pretty much it's a sense of accomplishment. I mean, when we're on the Iraqi platforms, we're training a nation's, another nation's fighting for us to protect themselves. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for me. And
you feel like when you're over there, you're accomplishing something very specific, very concrete. You know you're making a difference. It can be, more often than not, a very emotional session, especially when their spouses or significant others there.
When he told me he wanted to leave again, I was just like, what? Why the heck would you want to go again? How could you want to miss more of your children's life when you've been gone and you missed so much already from them? Just, as a mom, I could not imagine spending any time away from my kids, let alone for so long, and then being gone from them and then wanting to go again. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Pretty much feel left alone. You don't feel part of that marriage or that connection anymore.
And that's a very real feeling for a lot of military spouses. I mean, you're definitely, Carolina, not alone in that. Lots of times we have things that are being shared in that room that have not been shared before, even amongst people that are very close to each other. So it can tend to be very emotional, but it can also be very instructive. It helps us to better understand ourselves.
Well, one of the reasons I wanted to actually come to this is actually to hear, like, family perspective. Because, I mean, I know what I want to do. And even though I'm single, I mean, I'm dating, but the reality is me volunteering to go back most likely will just destroy that relationship.
Unlike a lot of the folks, I'm single, no kids, no pets even. So it's easier for me to get up and move, and I would rather it be me than some of my coworkers that would suffer, feeling the loss of their family members and things of that nature.
I think there's something inside the service member. The more I hear it, the more I believe it. There's kind of a DNA almost that's sort of imprinted into us that says this is just something that I need to be about.
When he said, it's sort of imprinted in our DNA, that kind of hit home, because it's like you do have this calling, you have this desire to go and contribute, and especially if you've been there before, you know what your direct contributions are like. And that is, like I said, intoxicating.
What we hear more often than not is that people feel a sense of deep purpose and meaning in what they do. And especially in the reserve community, when people are going back to jobs where it seems as though most people are just concerned about clocking in at 8 o'clock and clocking out at 5, that begins to lose most of its significance and meaning when you're over there.
It's more like, I am doing something that's making a difference, and even if it's a small difference.
And I think for many of us, there's a part of us that says, what's happening now in Iraq and Afghanistan and Kuwait and those places, there's a part of us that wants to experience that, because maybe that's what we're trained to do as part of who we are.